All right, so I'd like to call the meeting to order here at, did I already do that? I don't know if I did that. Did I even do that? No. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:04, please. Is there a motion to approve? Anyone?
So moved.
That was Larry, right?
Yes. Yep.
All right. All in favor? Yes, aye.
Wait, by roll call vote, you're gonna call each member of the committee.
Okay, so
We'll try this, test it. I don't think we need to vote on this, but we'll try it.
I'm going to call out each committee member's name and just tell me your vote. Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Shea?
Aye.
Mr. Gannett?
Aye.
Mr. Campagna, which I don't believe is on the call? Mr. DeSalvio?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Those are all the voting members, I believe, that are on your call, sir.
Thank you. All right, so that works. So everybody kind of get the gist of it?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right. Let's move on. The first item on the agenda here is just, I sent all the meetings out. Hopefully everyone got the meeting minutes in their email here. If everybody could just take a minute to review them, take a look through them, and we can vote on those to get those posted. How's everybody doing with the minutes? Everybody have a chance to review? Everything look okay?
This is Ed. I don't have any changes.
Stephanie?
Larry, no change.
Okay.
Stephanie, no changes.
All right. All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 11th, 2020 as written. Second?
Stephanie Holland, I'll second.
All right, Stephanie Holland has a second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Shea?
Aye.
Mr. Gilnett?
Aye.
Mr. DeSalvio?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Elliott?
Aye.
Great. So approved. Thank you. All right, so we will move right on to our first topic of discussion here, which is the senior center project that's in progress over at the old Gates property. I'll let Steve Kirby take the microphone here and lead us in some discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Kirby from Vertex. I'll start with a update on the construction progress. The C-wing building, slab, and foundation have been demolished and removed from the site. We had approximately 15 trailer dumps of asbestos-containing foundation, which was dam-proofing, that ended up going to Minerva in Ohio. We will get the final weights on that when the manifests come back, so we can determine what the cost of, but it looks like we're going to be under what we had carried in the project, which is good. Obviously, there was a bunch of other non-asbestos materials that went to other approved disposal facilities. That was work was done by Costello Dismantling. They have demobilized from the site. We are currently proof rolling and compacting the building pad area with GFM Enterprises, who is the site work subcontractor. We have UTS of Massachusetts as the testing firm. They are performing both compaction and vibration testing. Vibration testing being required per the contract to ensure that we're not overly vibrating the ground with the compaction testing. We have been in contact with the abutter, Susanna Green, and she had some issues with the amount of vibration. We did get her permission, and I have it in writing to access their property. We are going to have UTS take a vibration test at her foundation. The initial results, which is only verbal, I don't have anything in writing yet, from the testing that we did the end of last week on our site, is the vibration was within the specification tolerances. The next phase that they're going to be they're preparing for now, we'll be heading to will be a prep for footings and foundations. The work at the rec center south stairs, those south stairs have been demolished. They've excavated and prepped for footings. We've run the compaction testing in that area, and we're currently waiting for the repot to be delivered so they can start forming and pouring the stairs and the base section of the new ramp. That's essentially the work that's been done over the last month or so. We did get temporary power to the trailers, and we have Wi-Fi. So the trailers, up until about a week and a half ago, we really couldn't use. They are usable now. We did have our first meeting in Delphi's trailer last Wednesday. On a forward-going basis, we are having virtual job meetings via conference call. Although the project is currently still operating, and there's at this point there's no intention to shut anything down unless we are told.
Okay.
The project sign has been installed. If anybody wants to, is driving by, take a look. That went up this week. Again, because of the COVID-19, the groundbreaking that was scheduled for tomorrow has been postponed indefinitely at this point.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's essentially it for progress update. And any questions?
So yeah, it's Steve Shea here. I was just touching base on a couple outstanding items we had from, not outstanding, but just points of discussion. Has the tree protection been placed in the specific tree there behind the trailer? Trailer's been protected?
It has, yes.
Okay, great. And just touching base on sewer permit and curb cut permits, clear and good to go on those.
Yeah, good point. I did attend last week the traffic, the TRC meeting, and went through the concerns that they had for the curb cut, and we have issued now the curb cut permit. We actually have two now, because we've established a separate address for the senior center, which is going to be 333 First Parish. We actually have two curb cuts because of the second curb cut being off of Cudworth is for the recreation center, which still has the 327 First Parish address. So we do have the curb cut permits, the sewer tie-in. We were told that would be issued in the spring. I still have to follow up with DPW to find out exactly what that date is. The curb cut permit was forwarded to the town planner. So as far as the planning board decision, that's one thing that's been checked off the list.
Okay, great. So yeah, just in the sense of with the coronavirus, so there's no sense of labor issues. Is there any sense of materials issues or equipment possibly, MEP equipment holdups or?
We haven't heard anything yet directly related to our project. I have heard through the industry, anything that's made in China could be a problem.
Yeah.
And light fixtures and electronics and so forth. It's still a little bit early, but I am sure we're going to find out that there are some things that are going to be affected.
Okay.
Steve, this is Larry. I have a couple of questions that are COVID related. As you probably all know, the mayor of Boston has suspended all current construction in the city. I guess my question is for Delphi and you, what are their plans at this point with respect to complying with distancing and all the other things that the state and local authorities are looking for?
Well, right now we generally have a job meeting every Wednesday morning in the trailer. It was in the Gates, the old Gates School initially until the trailer got power. But we had it in the trailer last week. We are not having that. We're doing that as a conference call. So
okay.
we are not getting together with multiple people in a relatively small area.
Great.
Work. The plan is, and I know the mayor, stopped all. Well, I think they've given them till Monday really to batten down the hashes before he wants them stopped. That has affected one of my jobs, but everything else outside of Boston is still running. Mostly either committee meetings or job meetings are being handled quite differently now, going with a conference call or some other method, and they do vary. But construction has not stopped at this point, and Delphi is not planning to unless directed either by local, or state authority, the governor or the town of Scituate.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Stephanie, do you have any questions or comments for the group?
None for me, thank you.
Okay. Ed, any comments or questions for the group?
No, none for me, thanks.
Okay. JD, anything from you? Any comments?
No, I didn't see the sign when I drove by yesterday, but I might just not have been looking. But I'm thrilled to hear it's up. Otherwise, no comments or questions.
Okay. And Steve, I know I just want to keep the town posted here. So I know you've been sending us the updates. We're reviewing them, getting them posted. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Hopefully people are reading them.
No problem.
Getting them. Good.
Do you want me to move on to the next item being change orders?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if there's no other comments yet, that'd be great. I have them in front of me
Okay.
here, hopefully.
Yep. There's two change orders. The change order number one we had previously reviewed, and it just needed to be signed.
Yes.
Just to remind everybody, that was for the delta in the roofing bid for $44,000. I don't know if there's any questions on that. I think we've already voted for that.
No, we did.
so
We reviewed this. I looked
we
back.
have
at
to
the-
vote again?
No, I looked back at the minutes and we did. We voted and approved this last meeting, and we had it in our hands. We just didn't have the wet copy, so we didn't sign
Correct.
it. So I will sign it and get it over to you tonight. So, change order one is good.
All right. Change order number two. There's two items on this change order. PCO 3R1, which was for some changes in the rear stair and ramp at the recreation department, the area that they're working on now, and the rebar that was not included in the drawings. We had gone over that last meeting as a PCO in an amount of a little over $5,400.
Right.
We went through this a little bit more after the final number is $5,009.55. And then the other item is PCO number 4, which is the contract time extension of 11 days at no additional cost, no penalty, due to the permitting procedure. We had also gone over that. Originally, that was going to be a little bit longer, but they did reduce the number of days. So that's a no cost. So the total of the change order is $5,009.55.
Okay. So we also had PCO number 2 about the fencing relocation, but we don't have the change order for that, right?
That may go away.
Okay. Very good.
So one thing I do got to note is there had been on the set that had been signed for change order 2 with ink had an error on it. What you're looking at is
Copies, yeah.
a digital copy. I don't know whether given issues with meetings and so forth, whether this is going to be changed and be acceptable now. I do have the wet ink copies coming to me tomorrow, but I submitted these regardless.
Nancy Holt speaking, the finance director. I will accept these, and then when the wet copies become available, we'll just marry them to them in the records.
Good solution. Thank you.
Okay.
Easy enough. All right. So change order 2, just to be clear, is the $5,009 for the and 55 cents for the rear stairwell work as part of the recreation center, and the 4 days of contract extension time. Is that what it was?
It's PCO number 4 for 11 days.
PCO for 11 days.
Yep.
And that's to Delphi, obviously, right?
For Delphi, correct.
All right. So I would like to make a motion to approve change order number 2, which is for $5,009.55 for the rebuilding and rebar in the rear stairwell to the recreation department, and also for 11 days of contract extension time for Delphi Construction for $0. Do I have a second?
Stephanie Holland, I'll second.
Stephanie Holland is seconded.
Roll call vote. Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Shea?
Aye.
Mr. Gilmet?
Aye.
Mr. DeSalvio? Mr. DeSalvio?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Elliott, I'm not going to ask you to vote on this because it's not a public safety item.
I'm with me.
Thank you. All right, so moved. Thank you. So change order 2 is all set. We have a contract amendment, Steve, is that next thing up here?
I was going to stick with the Delphi stuff and go to the application for payment number 2.
That's what I don't have. Do you have that?
You have it over there.
Oh. Let me pull it up here, Steve. Hold on.
Yep, no problem.
All right, got it.
Okay, application for payment, Delphi application for payment number 2 is for work performed through February 29th in the amount of $232,821.25, a little over 5% of the project. The invoices for costs associated with the abatement work, demolition, carpentry, plumbing, electrical, site work, and general conditions.
All right, and looking at the cover letter, it's been reviewed by your office and everybody has signed off.
We vetted it through as a pencil rec. Bargman, Hendry, and Archetype certified it on the 11th.
On March 11th, yeah, I see that, yeah.
Yep. So it was vetted through.
Okay. Does anybody from the board have any questions on the invoice or comments?
Nope.
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 No.
Seems reasonable. All right. So I would like to make a motion to approve purchase order, which one is it? Sorry.
It's application for permit
That's
number
it,
2.
Number 2.
Scratch that, all right. I'd like to motion to approve application for payment number 2 in the amount of $232,821.25, which is approximately 5.25% of the project cost. The application for payment has been reviewed by the OPM and architects and have made recommendations for payment. Is there a second?
Second, Larry Gilmet.
Okay, a roll call vote. Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Shea?
Aye.
Mr. Gilmet?
Aye.
Mr. DeSalvio?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Okay, and the last item that I had was an amendment number 2 to my Vertex's OPM contract in order to for the testing and special inspection requirements that we have on the project. We've got UTS of Massachusetts that's performing the construction testing, and we'll be doing the Chapter 17 special inspections. We had carried an amount in our budget of $25,000. So I've sent this in as a not to exceed $25,000. Essentially, we'll put a markup on their billing, and the billing will be coming through Vertex. We have to check it and confirm it anyways. It'll end up being on our invoice, and I'm looking to set up our invoice to sort of break that out into a separate phase, so it's easier to track.
Okay, so yeah, this is similar to what we've done on other projects. So just to be clear, this is for the environmental testing and the remediation testing.
No.
Oh.
The industrial hygienist and the hazardous materials monitoring, that's through Bargman. This is for soil compaction, sieve tests, concrete slump tests, compression tests, steel inspection, all the construction materials inspections.
Okay, great. Yeah, standard billing practice stuff. Okay. Any,
Yep, not the hazardous material stuff.
Got it.
Everything else.
And not to exceed 25,000. Okay.
Right.
Any questions or comments from the
Very
board? Go ahead.
Very similar thing that we did for the excuse me, we did for the HVAC commissioning agent.
Exactly right. Okay. Any questions or comments from the board?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve amendment number 2 from Vertex Engineering on their contract for special testing and special requirements of construction materials and site work in a not to exceed amount of $25,000. Is there a second?
Second, Larry.
Roll call vote. Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Shea?
Aye.
Mr. Gilmet?
Aye.
Mr. DeSavio,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
and again, Mr. Elliott, I'm leaving you off.
Okay.
So moved. Thank you. Appreciate it. Great. All right. Is that all you had, Steve, for the meeting tonight?
That's all I have for the senior center. I do have an update on public safety, but we'll
Okay.
wait till we get to that.
Is there any other questions or comments related to the to the senior center, sorry?
This
Steve.
is Karen Canfield. Sorry,
Go ahead, Karen. Thank you.
Steve. Question, did we officially send out notice of postponement of the groundbreaking? What's the status of that?
That would be the COA. That'd be up to the council on
That'd be
aging,
council
but
on
yeah,
aging.
it's been postponed because all public meetings have been postponed, all public activities.
Okay, I will circle back with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I think was there another
Steve,
comment?
this is it. Yeah, Steve, this is Ed. Just a question. There was an email that came out from Nancy that listed a bunch of different invoices for the project, for the architect, and some other items, some insurance costs. Are those items, do we need to review those, or are you just going to sign those?
They're purchase order payments on the contract.
I can, as what I sent to you, sorry, Nancy Holt speaking, Finance Director. Just because you're not present in the meeting, I sent out the list. It was Bargeman's current bill, as well as Vertex's 2 different invoices for their work from December through the end of February. And then the site inspection for Merrill, required by the planning board, was in there for $600. And the builder's risk, which we covered under the general liability and property insurance of the town's budget until the PBC could vote it. And there are 2 different policies. One is for the renovation, which is $853, and the other one was for the regular builder's risk, which was just over $25,000. And as comparison, the library builder's risk was $39,000. So it was competitive.
That sound all right, Ed? Is consistent with your review?
Yeah, these were typically, I know we talked about, because of the situation now, maybe the committee voting to have you sign off on all these invoices without the committee votes, because these were typically the types of invoices that the chairman would sign on past projects without committee votes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to bring that up at the end under new business, but you're right. That was the guidance we received from the town to do something as such, just of temporarily till we get back together and have regular face-to-face meetings. All right. Any other questions or comments from the board?
No?
All right, good. So moving along to the next item on the agenda is the library project update. So just quickly on that, the last item of attack there is basically the walkway, the ADA walkway out in front of the property. Everyone knows the story. We've had some trouble with contractors and design. The walkway's been redesigned. We have the design, and we're currently sourcing vendors to complete the work. So that should be done pretty soon here. We're just waiting to hear from a couple contractors and get some pricing back, get a contract locked in with them, and just get the work done. So that's where we're at with that one last remaining item for the library. Any questions, comments? No? All right. So next item agenda is the public safety complex, the project update. Again, just a few remaining items left for this one. There's some retro commissioning efforts that we've been doing with the town. That's an ongoing effort to find out, just to fix some little minor problems, some lighting, some heating and HVAC controls. I got an update earlier in the week from Kevin Kelly. Things are going well. They're working through some of the proposed changes, and there's no cost for the changes right now, just programming changes and little fixes, which is good. And then they're retesting, so we'll get the final report on that work that WSP's been doing in short order here, hopefully. And then Steve, you said you had updated the gutter brackets?
Yes, I spoke with Greenwood yesterday because I've been the last time they said we'll start the first week of March. So as soon as March started, I started to chase them again. I did speak to a gentleman from Greenwood yesterday. His intention, and I don't know if they did it today or not, but they wanted to come out and take a couple of the brackets from one of the lower gutter areas, so that they'd have a template in order to fabricate the new ones. And then they also wanted to make an inventory of how many brackets they were going to need. They'll be fabricating the brackets themselves in their own shop and then sending them out for galvanizing. So essentially what he wants to do is have all his materials on hand so that they can take a section of gutter down, remove the old brackets, put new brackets in, and put that gutter back, as opposed to leaving the building without gutters and having gutters laying on the ground. So they'll do each section as they go. I pressed him for schedule. He says, "Look, our schedule is going to be somewhat contingent upon the galvanizer and how quickly he can run those brackets through galvanizing." So he said when he drops those off, he'll get in touch with me and give me a date of what they've given him, and then they plan on coming out and staying out to get it finished. So there'll be more updates, but at least it's starting to commence.
Okay, yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I'm checking in. I just want to let you know they were there today, and they did take a couple of brackets off. One of the
great,
gutters,
great.
One of the pieces in the rear parking lot.
good.
Yeah, I told him to go to that rear entry because that's probably the easiest. So, okay, thanks, Al. I appreciate that.
Thanks for the update, Al. Appreciate it. Had Greenwood mentioned anything about the gutter, the guards that they're supposed to put up too, or no?
Well, they'll be doing the guards when they come in and change everything out.
Okay, so they're still planning on it.
That's owed. Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments from the board on the public safety complex at this point?
Nope.
No.
No.
All right, great. All right, moving right along. So as Ed had mentioned, there is one topic for some discussion here with the board is obviously with times and with the coronavirus going on and the kind of complexities of getting together. Generally, with projects, as you know, as projects start getting deeper and more involved, we meet more frequently to kind of turn some of these purchase orders and change orders and things like that to get things keep the momentum going in the project, basically. It's looking like this thing's going to be lasting for maybe months here at this point. So, we had some guidance from the town and from the board here, obviously, as that's saying, is to look at having myself signing requisitions and kind of change orders with in consultation with the OPM, which is Vertex, architects in the town, to make sure our checks and balances are still there, but just to be able to have the ability to sign them and move things along. I don't know how the board feels about that. I'll open it up to comments and discussion.
Well, this is Ed. I think it's a good idea to have that mechanism, Steve, so that you'll be able to sign these different requisitions that come out without having to have these board meetings, especially as they become more frequent. There may be a need to do it every other week, and I think it'd be important to keep things going, given the current situation, for you to be given the authorization just to sign on behalf of the committee.
Okay.
This is, I agree.
Who's this?
Larry?
Larry, thanks, Larry. Okay. Stephanie, any?
I do as well.
Okay. Stephanie. All right, so not much discussion there on that. So yeah, I'd like to make a motion to, have the approval from the board members for myself, Stephen Shea, to sign requisitions, moving forward here with the project for the foreseeable future, in consultation with, the OPM Vertex, town, and the checks and balances that need to be done to push these through, to keep momentum in the project. Is there a second?
I'll second it. This is Ed.
Sorry.
Take it down.
Roll call vote, Ms. Holland,
Aye.
Mr. Shea,
Aye.
Mr. Gilnet,
Aye.
Mr. DeSalvio,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
It's a good idea, aye.
Great, thank you, everyone. So moved. All right, that's the end of the agenda here, unless anybody else has anything they'd like to add, or any old business or new business they'd like to bring up.
Nope.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:40 p.m.
Seconded, this is Larry.
roll call vote for adjournment, Ms. Holland,
Aye.
Mr. Shea,
Aye.
Mr. Gilnet,
Aye.
Mr. DeSalvio,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
Mr. Elliott,
Aye.
thank you.
So moved. Great. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I appreciate it. Hopefully,
Great job, guys.
I know this was interesting, but it's good. Glad we got it done. Keep things moving. Have a good night, everyone.
Hey.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you. Good
everybody.
night.
Stay safe.
Be well,
Bye-bye.
everyone.